Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. was born on February 5, 1992 in Mogi das Cruzes, São Paulo, Brazil. Long before he became one of the most famous footballers on earth, he was simply a little boy with a football at his feet. His family lived a modest life. Money was always limited. Luxury was something they could only imagine. His father, Neymar Santos Sr., had once dreamed of becoming a professional football player himself. He possessed talent, but injuries and financial struggles ended his career before it truly began. Instead of living his own dream, he decided to help his son achieve his. His mother, Nadine, worked tirelessly to support the family. Together, they gave Neymar something far more valuable than wealth: love, discipline, and unwavering belief. The family often moved from one small home to another, searching for better opportunities. There were times when paying bills became difficult. There were days when every Brazilian real mattered. Life was never easy. But one thing never changed. Football. For Neymar, football wasn't simply a game. It was everywhere, on the streets, in empty parking lots, on dusty fields, inside small neighborhoods where children used backpacks, shoes, or bricks as goalposts. The ball rarely left his feet. When he wasn't playing outside, he was playing indoors. Like millions of Brazilian children, Neymar fell in love with futsal, a faster version of football played on smaller courts with less space, less time, and far more touches on the ball. Futsal became his greatest teacher. It sharpened his reactions, improved his balance, developed his incredible close control, forced him to think faster than everyone else. Many of the magical dribbles the world would later admire were born on those tiny futsal courts. Even as a small child, Neymar played without fear. He challenged older boys. He tried impossible tricks: nutmegs, stepovers, rainbow flicks, back heels, skills that most coaches would tell young players to avoid. His father never stopped him. He encouraged creativity, because in Brazil football is art. By the time Neymar was 6 years old, local coaches were already talking about him. His speed amazed everyone. His technique looked years ahead of his age. Defenders called and he predict his next move. Parents gathered around pitches simply to watch the little boy entertain everyone. Soon, he joined Portuguesa Santista, where his talent became impossible to ignore. Every tournament seemed to produce another highlight, another goal, another unbelievable dribble. Scouts quickly started paying attention. Then came the club that had produced one of football's greatest legends, Santos FC, the home of Pelé, one of the most famous football clubs in South America. When Neymar was just 11 years old, Santos invited him to join their legendary youth academy. For many young Brazilian players, this was the dream. Santos had transformed ordinary children into world superstars. Now Neymar had the same opportunity. Training became much harder. Competition became much stronger. Every player wanted to become the next Brazilian icon. Many talented youngsters disappeared under the pressure. Neymar didn't. He became better, faster, stronger. Every year, coaches promoted him above players his own age. His confidence never disappeared, neither did his smile. At just 14 years old, one of the biggest clubs in the world came calling: Real Madrid. The Spanish giants invited Neymar to Spain for a trial. Club officials were immediately impressed. They wanted to sign him. The deal was almost completed. Imagine how different football history might have been. But Santos made a decision. They believed Neymar was too special to lose. The club offered better financial support for his family. They convinced him to stay in Brazil. It became one of the most important decisions of his life. Back at Santos, Neymar continued improving at an unbelievable pace. Every youth tournament seemed too easy. Goals came naturally. Magazine covers, every new endorsement increased his income. His face became one of the most recognizable in Brazilian sport. Some marketing experts believed Neymar was already worth more commercially than many experienced international stars. But the biggest clubs in Europe weren't interested in advertising. They wanted the player. Offers arrived from everywhere: Real Madrid CF, FC Barcelona, Chelsea FC, Manchester City FC. Almost every football giant dreamed of signing him. Transfer rumors filled newspapers every week. Fans wondered where Brazil's greatest young talent would go next. Neymar remained calm. He understood that leaving Brazil would change everything. It would mean new teammates, a new country, a new language, a new culture, and even greater pressure. Eventually, one decision would shock the football world. One transfer would unite him with two of the greatest forwards ever assembled, and it would begin one of football's most unforgettable eras. By 2013, Neymar had already conquered Brazil. He had won major trophies, broken records, and millions, and become one of the most famous young footballers on earth. Now, one question remained: could he succeed in Europe? The biggest clubs in the world wanted him. Real Madrid CF pushed hard to sign him. FC Barcelona wanted him just as badly. The football world waited. Then came the announcement that changed everything. In the summer of 2013, Neymar officially signed for Barcelona. The transfer became one of the biggest stories in football. The reported fee exceeded 85 million once various payments and bonuses were included. The move instantly made Neymar one of the most expensive players in football history. His dream had become reality, but another challenge immediately appeared. Barcelona already had the best player in the world, Lionel Messi. Many believed Neymar would struggle, some predicted conflict. Others believed the superstars could never share the spotlight. The pressure became enormous. Every match was analyzed, every pass, every mistake, every goal. Instead of competing against Messi, Neymar chose to learn from him. He respected the Argentine legend. Messi welcomed the young Brazilian. Their friendship quickly grew. On and off the pitch, during his first season, Neymar adapted to European football. The game was faster, more physical, defenders were stronger. Every match demanded perfection. Despite the challenges, Neymar continued improving. He scored important goals, created countless assists, and slowly became one of Barcelona's most dangerous attacking players. Then, in 2014, another superstar arrived. Luis Suárez joined Barcelona. Suddenly, football witnessed something extraordinary. Three world-class forwards, one team: Messi, Suárez, Neymar. Fans around the world gave them one unforgettable name: Messi. It quickly became one of the greatest attacking trios in football history. Their chemistry looked almost impossible. Messi created, Suárez finished, Neymar dazzled. Then they switched roles. Nobody cared who scored. They cared about winning. Defenders had nightmares. Stopping one superstar was difficult. Stopping three seemed impossible. The goals arrived in incredible numbers: 1, 2, 3 every match. Sometimes even more. The trio entertained millions of fans around the world. Every weekend became another highlight show: back heels, nutmegs, long-range goals, perfect teamwork. Football had become art again. The 2014-15 season became unforgettable. Barcelona dominated Spain. They won La Liga, then the Copa del Rey. Only one trophy remained: the UEFA Champions League, Europe's biggest competition. The toughest challenge in club football. Barcelona advanced through the knockout rounds. One giant after another, the pressure increased with every match. Then came the final. Barcelona faced Juventus FC in Berlin. Millions watched around the world. Neymar played brilliantly. Late in the match, he scored Barcelona's third goal. The final whistle blew. Barcelona were champions of Europe once again. Neymar had achieved every young footballer's dream. He had won the Champions League, but that wasn't all. Barcelona completed the historic treble: La Liga, Copa del Rey, Champions League, 3 major trophies, one incredible season. Very few clubs in football history had ever accomplished such a feat. Messi finished the season with an astonishing number of goals. Together, Messi, Suárez, and Neymar scored well over 120 goals across all competitions. They shattered records, destroyed defenses, and became one of the most feared attacking partnerships football had ever seen. Neymar's popularity exploded. Children copied his hairstyles, his celebrations, his skills. His Barcelona shirt became one of the best-selling football jerseys in the world. Social media followers increased by millions. Global brands competed for sponsorship deals. His salary climbed into the tens of millions. He became one of the highest-paid footballers on earth. Every advertisement wanted Neymar. Every company wanted his smile. Every stadium wanted to see him play. The boy from the streets of Brazil had become one of football's biggest global superstars. Yet, despite all the trophies, the goals, the fame, and the fortune, Neymar wanted something more. He wanted to step out of Messi's shadow. He wanted to become the #1 player in the world. To do that, he would make a decision that shocked football forever. A transfer so enormous it would completely change the economics of the sport. By the summer of 2017, Neymar had already won almost everything a football player could dream of: the UEFA Champions League, multiple La Liga titles, domestic cups, the Olympic gold medal with Brazil, millions of fans around the world, endorsement deals worth tens of millions of dollars. Yet there was one challenge he still couldn't escape. Everywhere he went, people compared him to Lionel Messi. No matter how brilliantly Neymar played, many believed Barcelona would always belong to Messi. Some journalists even called Neymar the second star. For a player determined to become the best in the world, that wasn't he enough. He wanted his own team, his own legacy, his own Ballon d'Or. Then football witnessed something completely unprecedented. Behind the scenes, Paris Saint-Germain, backed by enormous investment from Qatar, prepared the biggest transfer in football history. The club was willing to activate Neymar's release clause, 222 million, approximately 263 million at the time. The football world couldn't believe it. No transfer had ever come close. The previous world record was almost half that amount. Many thought the rumors were impossible, too expensive, too risky, too unrealistic. Then it happened. On August 3, 2017, Neymar officially became a Paris Saint-Germain player. The transfer changed football forever. The entire sports world stopped. Television stations interrupted regular programming. Newspapers around the globe printed special editions. Millions watched the official presentation live. The deal instantly became the most expensive transfer in football history. A record that still stands. Past wasn't simply buying one player. They were buying a global icon, a commercial superstar, a marketing machine, a player capable of transforming the club's image across the world. Financially, the numbers were staggering. Neymar signed one of the richest contracts in football. His annual salary reached well over 30 million after taxes, making him one of the highest paid athletes on the planet. Every week he earned hundreds of thousands of euros. Every day tens of thousands. Every hour thousands more. Bonuses increased the total even further. Performance bonuses, Champions League bonuses, commercial bonuses, loyalty payments. The contract was worth hundreds of millions over its duration. But football salary was only one source of income. Off the pitch, Neymar had become a global business. His sponsorship portfolio continued expanding. Major international companies competed for partnerships. Luxury fashion brands, technology companies, soft drink manufacturers, gaming companies, financial services, sportswear giants. For years, Neymar had one of the biggest endorsement agreements in football with Nike. Later, he signed a landmark deal with Puma, reportedly worth tens of millions of dollars annually. It became one of the largest individual sponsorship contracts in football. His face appeared everywhere: television commercials, billboards, magazine covers, video games, digital campaigns. His social media accounts became some of the largest in sport. Hundreds of millions of followers watched his every move. Every Instagram post reached enormous audiences. Every advertisement generated global attention. Marketing experts estimated that Neymar's personal brand was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Companies weren't simply paying for a football player, they were investing in worldwide influence. Away from football, Neymar also expanded his business interests. He invested in luxury real estate, entertainment projects, sports, personal branding, business partnerships. His company managed image rights, sponsorships, licensing, and commercial opportunities across multiple continents. Financial analysts estimated that his total career earnings, including salary, bonuses, sponsorships, and commercial ventures, would eventually exceed 1 billion. Only a handful of football players had ever reached that milestone. But with enormous success came enormous pressure. Every Champions League campaign became a test. Every injury became headline news. Every defeat brought criticism. People expected past to win Europe's biggest trophy because of Neymar. Anything less felt like failure. The weight on his shoulders became heavier every season. The boy who once played barefoot on the streets of Brazil had become the most expensive football player in history. A multi-millionaire, a global celebrity, one of the richest athletes on earth. But money could not protect him from what came next, because the biggest opponent of Neymar's career would not be another football club. It would be injuries, criticism, and a constant struggle to fulfill expectations that seemed almost impossible. By the late 2010s, Neymar had everything many athletes dream about: fame, championships, luxury, global recognition, hundreds of millions of dollars. But behind the glamorous lifestyle, one battle never seemed to end: injuries. Every season appeared to follow the same painful pattern: brilliant performances, outstanding goals, then another injury. An ankle, a foot, ligament damage, muscle problems, recovery after recovery. The timing always seemed cruel. Often, the injuries happened just before the most important matches of the season, especially the UEFA Champions League knockout rounds. Paris Saint-Germain had invested a world record fee expecting Neymar to lead them to European glory. Instead, the club repeatedly found itself playing without its biggest star. Criticism became relentless. Television pundits questioned his commitment. Newspapers focused on every absence. Social media exploded after every injury. Some called him unlucky. Others accused him of caring more about fame than football. Every mistake became international news. Every defeat brought fresh criticism. Very few athletes have ever lived under such constant public pressure. Yet whenever Neymar returned to the pitch, he reminded everyone why he remained one of football's greatest talents. His dribbling still mesmerized defenders. His passing remained extraordinary. His creativity could change a match in seconds. Even critics admitted one thing: a fully fit Neymar was almost impossible to stop. International football brought even greater emotions. Representing Brazil had always been his greatest dream. Millions expected him to bring the FIFA World Cup back to the country that loves football more than almost anywhere else. In 2014, Brazil hosted the World Cup. The entire nation believed. Neymar carried enormous expectations. Then tragedy struck. During the quarter-final against Colombia, a heavy challenge fractured a bone in his back. His tournament ended immediately. Brazil lost its biggest star. A few days later came one of the darkest nights in Brazilian football history. Without Neymar, Brazil suffered the historic 7-1 defeat against Germany. The entire country was devastated. Many wondered what might have happened if Neymar had been able to play. For years later, another World Cup, another opportunity. Again, the pressure was unbelievable. Brazil hoped Neymar would finally lead them to victory. Instead, questions about injuries, criticism, and expectations followed him once more. Then came Qatar 2022. Once again, Neymar entered the tournament carrying the dreams of over 200 million Brazilians. Early in the competition, another ankle injury threatened everything. Many feared his World Cup was over. He fought back, returned, scored, inspired his teammates, but Brazil suffered a heartbreaking quarter-final defeat. Neymar left the pitch in tears. The dream of lifting football's greatest trophy remained unfinished. Away from football, his business empire continued expanding. His endorsement portfolio became one of the largest in world sport. After years with Nike, Neymar signed a blockbuster agreement with Puma. Industry experts estimated the deal to be worth tens of millions of dollars every year. It became one of the richest sponsorship contracts in football. His commercial success extended far beyond sportswear, luxury fashion, gaming, technology, financial services, entertainment, global advertising campaigns. His image generated enormous value. Social media became another powerful business. Across Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X, Neymar built an audience of hundreds of millions of followers. Every photograph reached millions. Every video attracted worldwide attention. Brands paid enormous amounts simply to appear alongside him. Marketing analysts estimated that a single sponsored post from Neymar could generate extraordinary commercial value. His wealth continued growing. Luxury homes in Brazil and abroad, private investments, business ventures. Years later, a young football fan asked Neymar, what is the secret to becoming one of the best players in the world? Neymar smiled, then answered quietly, never stop believing in yourself. He explained that talent is a gift, but talent alone is never enough. Every successful player has talent, only a few are willing to make the sacrifices required to reach the top. He spoke about discipline because the world only sees 90 minutes on the pitch. It never sees the thousands of hours spent training, the endless recovery sessions, the painful rehabilitation after injuries, the mornings when your body hurts, the evenings when everyone else is resting. He said that success isn't built when everything is easy. It is built when everything becomes difficult, when criticism fills every headline, when social media doubts you, when millions expect perfection, and you still choose to keep going. Neymar experienced both sides of football. The greatest victories and the deepest disappointments. He lifted trophies that millions only dream about. But he also experienced heartbreaking defeats. He heard stadiums chanting his name, and later listened to critics questioning everything he did. Very few athletes have lived under such enormous pressure for so many years. Yet one thing never disappeared: his love for football. Every time Neymar stepped onto the pitch, the child from Brazil returned. The little boy who once played barefoot on dusty streets, who smiled every time the ball touched his feet, who believed football should always bring joy. That joy inspired millions. Children all over the world copied his dribbles, his celebrations, his confidence, his creativity. Many coaches tried to teach players to avoid taking risks. Neymar reminded an entire generation that football should also be beautiful, that imagination still matters, that courage can change matches, that one moment of magic can inspire millions. His influence reached far beyond Brazil. Young players from every continent began playing with greater confidence, more freedom, more creativity. They weren't simply copying Neymar's skills. They were copying his fearless approach to the game. Off the pitch, he built one of football's largest personal brands. Through football salaries, global sponsorships, business partnerships, investments, and commercial ventures, his career earnings climbed beyond $1 billion. The poor boy from Brazil had become one of the richest athletes in history. Yet, despite the wealth, the trophies, and worldwide fame, many football experts continue saying the same thing. Neymar may be one of the greatest talents the sport has ever seen. His combination of speed, technique, vision, dribbling, creativity, and flair was unlike almost anyone else. Many believe injuries prevented the world from seeing the absolute peak of his abilities. Others believe he achieved exactly what destiny intended. But everyone agrees on one thing: football became more entertaining because Neymar played it. His story reminds us that greatness isn't measured only by statistics, not only by goals, not only by trophies. Sometimes greatness is measured by inspiration, by the millions of children who started playing football because they watched you, by the smiles you created, by the unforgettable moments that remain in people as memories forever. The boy from the streets of Brazil who once dreamed with nothing but a football became a global superstar, a billionaire athlete, a football icon, and one of the most gifted players his generation has ever produced. His career proved that dreams can begin anywhere: on a dusty street, a small futsal court, or a poor neighborhood in Brazil. What matters isn't where you begin. It asks how courageously you chase the impossible, because legends aren't remembered only for what they won. They are remembered for how they made the world feel, and Neymar made millions fall in love with football all over again.